The pain of ascension. I wanted to leave this message for you tonight as I sit with the pain of ascension. And I know you're getting this message, and just like me and many other people, we're changing. And this process isn't easy. There's a lot of pain. And I'm going to discuss all of the pain, all of the symptoms, all of the changes that you need to go through in order to evolve while you're still alive. Isn't that amazing? Great things are happening in the world. Great things are happening for you and I. But there's a lot of pain when it comes to true ascension. I share this a lot. You're going to have to choose your pain. Do you choose the pain of discipline, or do you choose the pain of regret? Because to go through this change, if you think of Heinrich Metamorphosis, it's one of the most powerful videos that I've ever shared. Think about a caterpillar as it turns into a butterfly. And that Heinrich Metamorphosis, the metamorphosis stage, it is going to cause that caterpillar to have so much pain. We are going through that. And we're literally changing on the inside, and it's not easy. And I'm going to share many things with you from my personal journey, and things for you to refer to. Align the spine so that you could connect to the divine. You know, you might go through a phase where your spine starts to shift. Tesla said, I am the receiver. We're receiving a broadcast. Your spine and your alignment of the spine is so important. You might have grown up in the 80s, the 90s, where we still had television antennas, and sometimes you'd maybe bend the antenna, you know, to try to pick up a better signal, right? It's getting a little staticky. We got to move it around. So think about that. Think about how your spine has to recalibrate. You know, when I was a boy, I always had a slight scoliosis, a spiral spine. And sometimes I kind of feel my body, and I feel like my whole body is twisted. And in recent times, it is very apparent, especially down at the base of the spine. And it's, you know, actually many things in the universe are spirals. But the spine is recalibrating. That's the pain that I'm sitting in tonight. And we kind of feel, I'm leaving this message, but this message could be watched at any time, because all of us are going to go through this process. And you might be getting this as I'm leaving this in current times, and you can kind of tell that something major is about to happen. God always knows there is a divine timing, and we are prepared, even if it's in the final hours. So the spine recalibration is a big thing. The nervous system also recalibrates. This is very intense. And I know that there are people tuned into this. You might have had to go through a time where you had to recalibrate your nervous system. You have to sit in quiet with no stress or anxiety. You have to sit in quiet. It is the only way. And you will find a way. You'll have to find a way. You know, some people have loving individuals in their lives where you could kind of go through the ascension process with them. And I know there's also people tuned in that you have maybe saboteurs in your life that riddle you with anxiety, fear, stress. It takes so much energy to go through this ascension process. So you will have to find that alone time. And it's difficult. When you're connected to God, you're never really lonely, but we're all human and we want to have that. And sometimes, and I think a lot of us are feeling it in the now moment, we kind of say to ourselves, will this ever change? Will it ever change? Because this has been going on for such a long time. Will it ever change? So when you make a conscious decision, you will choose to make this journey. I've heard this in the past. People have said, everyone will make a free will decision, a choice. And then you will find yourself maybe alone in the wilderness for a period of time so that you can go through these birthing pains. It's not easy. I'm going to go through my journey now. And I have seen so many individuals that maybe talk about ascension. You can see them on social media. And nothing about this is fun. It is fun, but there's a lot of real stuff that you have to go through, and you cannot fake it. Not only are you changing for yourself and everything that you went through, we are transmuting within our DNA code not only our lives, our past lives, our family lineage, and sometimes we pick up additional stuff from the collective, and we're all transmuting these things. And a lot of us selected our parents to have the DNA codes ready to go for what we need to do for the collective. What I'm doing and what you're doing is not going to be exactly the same. We're all going in that same general direction I like to share. We're all increasing our vibrational frequency. We're recoding things. We're overcoming. We're transmuting a lot of densities and traumas, but we're all dealing with something that is very specific. We're not all doing the same thing. So my ascension journey started pretty much, it was really my whole life, but there was a time period where I could relate to where this actually started. And that was the time period of chronic fatigue. And lately, I'm dealing with something that has been persistent, very persistent. And I remember back when I was dealing with the chronic fatigue and the depression that I had, I said, I can't live like this. I'm so tired all the time. And this was before I knew all these things. What's happening? I didn't know I was turning into a beautiful butterfly. We're turning into a beautiful butterfly. So, I went to the doctors and did a whole bunch of stuff years ago, and everything's fine, you're healthy, all this other stuff. And until I studied Nikola Tesla and the secrets of vibration and frequency and 528 hertz, the miracle tone. It was my very first video I've ever done. Some of you seen that. I was a deer in the headlights for that video. And it opened my mind up to other possibilities, because earlier on my journey, and you might be starting your ascension journey now, and you could say to yourself, what is a frequency going to do? What is a sound going to do? You need to take pills, you need to do this or that, but it's a different mindset until we have that firsthand experience and to see that chronic fatigue, something shifted, something was shifting. That was a first main stage. A lot of pain to go through the chronic fatigue. I don't know if any of you are going through that stage now. I went through the stage where my third eye, my pineal gland opened, activated, wasn't pleasant. And it started with ringing in the ears and pressure in my skull. And I've shared this story before. We're just putting it all together tonight. And to have this ringing that I never had before, and I felt very sad. I said, I'll never hear quiet ever again. I went to the doctors again, and the ear doctor, I shared this story many times, and He looks in my ears, gives me a checkup, puts me in a soundproof booth. And my ears are blasting loud. It doesn't do that now, but that's how strong it was at the time. My ears, I'm sitting in a soundproof booth and my ears are so loud. He plays all the sounds and I answer. And he pulls me aside at the end with the physical and the sound test. He goes, "You have perfect hearing, perfect health." And he goes, "Well, you hear these stories of these people that hear this sound. They don't know where it's from. Well, good luck." And but to have that confirmed that this was something energetic, and now I could hear the sound, and you might go through a phase where the ringing goes from one ear to the other ear, changes maybe your area, maybe something is telling you to pay attention. There's a little pop and a ring and a bing. Frequency changes, pressure changes, right? But that time period, I had a lot of pressure, and that pressure, it moved into my jaw, and these are the crazy things that I've been through. So now my jaw, it was more on the right side. Actually, the pain left my head and went into my jaw for a while, and then eventually it went away. And then a little bit later, a kind of a cyst kind of activated right over my third eye, and all this stuff came out of it, and it caused like a infection, which I had to go back and deal with again, and that was actually very painful. I looked like the man from Avatar, except I wasn't blue. So if you Google a picture, that's what your Uncle Mike looked like at the time. At the time, I was a science teacher in a public school, and those that know my journey, and I could tell by the channel, I don't take days off, and I could continue I looked kind of silly though, and I wanted to make sure that the children saw that it's not just about looks, and I could see some of them felt bad for me. My whole face was swollen at the time, and I could see some of them were like talking, but I showed up, and I wanted to because what am I going to do at home anyway, right? So but show the kids that you show up with this, because it wasn't something that was stopping me, crazy pain, but it was uncomfortable and it looked funny, and then it went away. That was a little bit earlier in my journey. In recent times, to deal with the change in the organs, the pressure, the internal pressure. I've shared about my fasting journey, and I practice intermittent fasting, sometimes long-term fasting, to tap into the body's natural ability to achieve autophagy. And I'm changing myself, and I'm going with it, and no one's telling me to do these things. I'm just going through it and leaving this for all of you. And so dealing with that, and also dealing with the spine. So in recent times, the pressure is really in that area down here. We all are kind of, if you think of like a portals that open and close, giving birth. We're giving birth to something new, and we are being rebirthed. But none of these things are, it's not a joke. There's a lot of pain. And as I leave this message now, the back pain, the lower back, the base of the spine, the kundalini, some of you know the Christ oil that rises and falls. And I've experienced this a couple of times, but this last time has been very intense, and it brings forth that depression. When will it ever go away? Just like when I had the chronic fatigue. But every day it gets a little bit better, but there's just something, it's so deep inside. It's the best way that I could describe it. It's something so deep inside, you could feel it. It's like all the way inside. And if you know thyself, and that's what I share on this channel, you have to know thyself. You have to know your point of homeostasis. You have to know the ins and outs of your body. You know, I train every day like an athlete. What are you training for? I'm training for everyday life. That's how important this time period is. And I know the ins and outs. I get the waters of the body to flow. And this is how we transmute, and this is how we move these things along. We don't want to be totally at rest. Sometimes we have to rest and lay down, and I do that. It's not a pleasant thing. It's not fun, you know, you have to sacrifice. In a sense, it's not really a sacrifice. I'm not called to drink alcohol. I'm not really called, for the most part, to go out to eat. Though I would like to do that occasionally. So it's gonna leave you pretty much alone, because many people out there don't want to do this. A lot of people don't want to do this. But if you're tuned into this message to this point, you are beyond motivated. You're driven. You carry the light of Christ within you. You know, when I was a boy, I loved science. I always loved science. I loved superheroes. I loved these things. And I always questioned, I said, there's more. There's got to be more to this life. There's got to be more. And I had an opportunity. I had an opportunity to be a scientist. I had an opportunity to conduct experiments. And you have to push through fear. Because there's going to be a whole lot of subconscious programs. They're going to say this, that. These are the good things. These are the bad things. Stay away from those. But everything might be flipped around. It's very difficult to navigate through this. So there's a lot of unlearning. There's a lot of relearning. Yeah, I did my video on sun gazing. You know, you should check that out. But even a simple fact like that, you know, people will frighten you. Oh, don't look at it. It takes guts to even do something like that with the fear that's pumped out. When you do true ascension, you become closer to God. And you have God-like abilities. Because the Christ energy goes through your DNA receptors. 93% of the function of DNA is light and sound reception and transmission. This was my journey. And I'm leaving this message now because I know a lot of people, and you could leave it in the comments if you know something big is about to rock. But we feel this, and God has a divine timing for us. Everything has its seasons and cycles, and I can't explain it enough. I've seen this many times. My body knows. It knows, okay, I'm going to have this window of time. I have this time to rest, and now I need to deal with these things. You have to deeply understand the amount of energy that it takes to change trillions of cells. You're a nuclear power plant. Trillions of cells. Trillions of volts of electricity. This energy is known as chi. We came into this game of life. We were born into this matrix. And we signed up for it. And there's only a chosen few. It is available to everyone. But as I shared, I know there's people out there that, you know, it's spiritual, all right, you know, it's all, you know, hold the crystal and it's going to be all this and that. But there are people that will put in the work to totally change and evolve while they are alive. I help guide people on their evolutionary journey. It's amazing the time that has gone by. It is clear that we are electrical before we are chemical, because of the nerves, and I could see certain things in dealing with this pain and going down the leg, and you know, because I know myself, and I know the ins and outs, and you know, we are electrical before we are chemical. And a lot of our brothers and sisters, you are highly advanced spiritual creatures. And I know that a lot of us deal with neurological issues because it's almost like we're rejecting this density. And yeah, I'm very blessed to, have connected with basically, over 1 million people. And, we have a lot of people that show up every day. But I have the spiral spine, and it's just, I guess I don't really I didn't realize it all at first, but now I'm like, oh, okay, this is why I feel this way, or this is why something is pulled one way, and it's like, wee. So, but that's been my life. It's been the last few years, a lot of pain. But the funny thing, I have no regrets. Do you choose the pain of discipline, or do you choose the pain of regret? Being fascinated with science and always having an inner knowing about these things, if I just would have passed it by, if I just would have bowed down to all of the people out there that try to pump you into the lower states of consciousness, which are fear, guilt, and shame, and I didn't move forward with this, I would have had a lot of regrets. But I have no regrets. I have none. And to go through this, you'll start to learn what true unconditional love is. Yeah. You'll learn true unconditional love. You will learn the love that God has for you. I know it very deeply, because God gave me an opportunity to perform at my finest. And in the past, a lot of us didn't have this opportunity. A lot of us were cogs in the matrix. But once you have that faith in God and the inexhaustible belief in yourself, you become bigger and more powerful than the matrix itself. But I leave you all tonight. I sit here with the pain, and usually I am horizontal, laying down so I could stay off the back. And I feel this now. But know that this is truthfully what it is. And at the end of this all, if we go through all of this and we evolve while we're alive, if we've extended our lifespan, it's worth it, because it's only maybe 1% of our life. 200, 300 years? Who knows? But we have no regret. There's going to be a time where you will have to make a free will decision. Will you take the true ascension journey? I appreciate you all. I love you all. I feel this very deeply. It's why I left this message, because I really know thyself, and I know the intensity of the pain, and I'm very blessed to have so many people leave comments, and reading the comments, I know a lot of you are in tune, and a lot of you feel this very deeply right now. But all these traumas, all of this needs to leave. It's leaving now. We're evolving. We're changing. So I love each and every one of you. If you took something very powerful from this message, I'm very grateful if you would click the like button and click the subscribe button. We have daily videos, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, to help you become the greatest version of yourself. Let's improve physically, mentally, and spiritually. This is a grassroots movement and channel and community. So it's through all of you. So as it resonates, please continue to share it. Comment down below. What are the symptoms that you're feeling? Are you feeling any of these? Or did you go through any seasons where you had any of these things happen to you? So it is a lot to go through, but there's only one thing that you could do when it gets so strong, when it gets so intense. All you could do is just keep going. It is the greatest advice I could ever give. Just keep going. You ain't gonna stop. We're never gonna stop. There is no finish line. We just keep going. I love you all. Share this to 1 million people. Let's get up. Let's be empowered, and let's learn the truth about spirituality, the truth of what ascension really is like. Superheroes are born, refined by the Holy Spirit fire, that which shall survive. The creative adult is the child that survived. I'm here. I'm here for you all. I never gave in. I never bowed down. I just kept going. Let's raise the frequency of the planet. Let's move. Let's inspire others. Let's tap in to our true power and potential. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, light warriors, just keep going. I love you all. Keep going, kid.